What's up, everyone? This is BigPowner, and as I told you, if you guys have been following my videos, and you saw my guide video. That was the focus of my beginning of my season. For myself, it was to test all of the mechanics, to see what was good this season, what was best this season, see what I liked, see what worked best for currency, get to know the bosses, get to know the maps. That was pretty much the beginning, and then my other really big focus, both for myself and for the people that have been following my starter build, was to give them a finished product so that they could know what they needed to go for. And in order to do that, I had to play the build on all of the stuff to really give a good end game goal for a build or a direction for that build. You have to know all of the stuff. And there was so much new stuff added this season. Like most seasons, I could, in the first day tell you what was going to work good, but this was like a whole new game. Like they essentially added a whole new season and a whole new game. Like it was so much stuff to go through, and there's still a lot of stuff that I'm testing. But as promised, I am going to teach you guys how to make a lot of currency. And by a lot of currency, I mean a shit ton of currency. And this is going to be the first one of those videos, and there will be a lot more, but you have to learn the basics um, in order to take advantage of, the more advanced stuff. And honestly, you could take the information just in this video, and you will make more currency than you have ever thought that you would make in this game. That that being said, um, maybe it's unrealistic to reach a place right away where I'm at. Like today, I am around 30 exalts that I have generated in currency in this gaming session with making videos. Um, there's a lot of stuff that goes into that to get to that type of level. The reason why is because you have to have knowledge of other builds. You have to know what's popular. There's a lot of stuff that goes into it, and that is some of the keys to generating currency in this game is knowing what's valuable. But starting with the basics, assuming that you don't know all this stuff, which if you knew all the stuff that I knew, you probably wouldn't be looking for videos to help you make currency. So, I'm gonna assume that, there's gonna be people watching this that have no information. So maybe some of this information is stuff you already know, um, but understand that this video is for anyone at any level so that they can start making more currency. Maybe only small pieces of it will be advantageous to you, but I want this to be a video that gets everyone that watches this video on track to make more currency. That being said, the first things that you absolutely 100% have to do is you have to get two things. One is a good loot filter. I use a filter blade from Neversink. You don't have to use the same filter as me. I'm just telling you what I use. And I've used it for 2 seasons. This is my second season using it. I like it. I think it's done well. There's some stuff in it that I'm like, why is that giving me a swingy noise? And there's like stuff that's way over prioritized. Like for some reason, like Necro Gear is still like dropping like highlighted yeah, it's like less than a chaos. Like why is that shit even on my screen? But that being said, in general, really good it's a really good loot filter, and that's what you need. Is you just need most of the crap removed off of your screen so that you can focus on the stuff that's good. And even when you're running semi-strict or strict, even eventually you're gonna be sorting through that stuff and only picking up certain stuff. The other thing is you need to get PoE trade macro. Even with as much as I know about the game, different builds, all of this stuff, PoE trade macro is still a really good reference point. And I will say this, if you are new to trading, you're new to the game, you're not completely sure what's valuable, you're going to make mistakes. The thing is, as there's no way to avoid that. Like, I made mistakes. Like, I sold stuff, for way less, and I've had issues where I price stuff for way too much. But it's a learning experience, and at least with some tools, you will learn faster. Now I'm going to comment about using PoE trade macro. I'm not going to teach you how to use it. If you don't have it yet, go get a video on it. They have a great video. They tell you how to use it. I can put your mind at ease. There's no viruses. They're not trying to steal your stuff. So it's a safe thing to use. Like I've been using it for a while. It's completely safe. So that'll put your mind at ease for that. Just follow the video. Um, Moving on from there. The thing is, it does not tell you exactly what an item is worth. The way that it works and understanding how it works is going to help you a lot to get better at using it. It basically uses an algorithm that takes the general pricing and selling of items for a period of time, and it gives you an estimate on your items based on the combinations that is on that item. This gives you basically a good idea of what stats or combinations of stats are useful. One thing that is going to help you a lot is you see this when I'm identifying these items, which is just hovering over it and holding Alt. It tells me what's a prefix, what's a suffix. Every item can have 3 prefixes, 3 suffixes, but it's also telling me their tier. And that's important because you'll learn pretty quickly what are popular things. Like obviously, resistances are really popular. I'll tell you that resistances are really popular. HP, this season, energy shield is really popular. Like there's so many people using energy shield this season that the gear is inflated. And that happens every season. There's inflated gear, and it's good to know that because you're going to be like, oh, this has, tier 1 energy shield and resistances on it. This is probably a really valuable item. So, understanding things like that are going to help you decide, how do I want to price this item? So, if you get something that's like, percentage energy shield, tier 1 energy shield, and it's on like a best type base, for instance like a hubris circlet, that's the best, most desirable helmet piece. So if you get one that has tier 1 energy shield, tier 1 percentage energy shield, dual stat, dual mod, like percentage energy shield and health, or flat energy shield and flat health, like that is going to be a super expensive item, and that's probably one of those items that you want to price on the high side. In general, though, you want to price low, because what is the least amount that you can make on an item? The least amount that you can make on an item is an item that you don't sell. My first season, I accidentally undersold some stuff, and then I was like dang, like I way undercut myself, and then I started pricing on the high range, and what happened is then basically nothing was selling. So there's kind of like a sweet point in general for most items. What I tend to do is price on the low end, which is going to make it so that if I'm pricing on the low end of an estimate in general, it's going to make it so that my item is going to be it's going to actually be seen, because there's a lot of items in the PoE database. So if my item is essentially close to the same as 10 other people's, but mine is a little bit less, my item's probably going to get bought. So I mean, that's a pretty simple concept. And if you start getting a lot of items, start pricing them really low so that you don't run out of space. I've got a ton of tabs, so I don't have really that issue. But I also cut down to, like right now, I won't even mess with an item that's less than 50 chaos, but that's because I'm making, like I've made like 30 exalts today. Like I'm not gonna take time out of my map to leave to sell, 5 chaos, 10 chaos item. It's just, if I kept every item like that, the way that I'm playing, I would, I'd have 100 tabs. I'd have to buy more tabs. Like it's not viable for me. But when you're starting out and you don't have a lot of currency, it's worthwhile to sell, like when I started my season, I sold a 5 chaos item. I sold 3 chaos items. I sold, 10 chaos items. And then, as you get higher in the levels and you're farming harder stuff and you're getting better gear, you start getting higher priced items and your inventory will start to stack up with that stuff. And you have to get rid of all that small crap because it's not worth your time. You'll get to that point. You'll understand what I'm saying. So, moving on from there, that gives you some general information about that stuff. The next biggest thing is the biggest mistake that people make is basically being slow. And I'll give you this analogy. When I first started playing and I got to maps, I'd probably get like one map done every like 10 minutes. So, simply by just realizing like I'm not doing that many maps, I cut my map time down to like realistically, probably second season like 5 minute maps. A part of it has to do with your build, but if you've been following me, you're going to be using like the same build, so it's reasonable to say that you will be able to clear maps about as fast as me. And when you start playing like this, you're going to generate a lot more currency, and you'll be able to get gear that looks like mine. Or since I'm going to be creating a bunch more builds, I may stop upgrading this gear. You might wind up with better gear than me. Um, if you really like the build and you want to play it all season, then that's perfect. Do it. But the thing is the reason why I recommend this is because this is a build that can do everything, and it's going to be really good at farming currency. The problem with starting with any build that is not good at farming currency and is not a sure thing. The reason why I recommended this is that I knew it would be a build that would be able to generate people following me a lot of currency. If you picked something that was a gamble, if you gamble with your character start in the beginning and you don't get something that's good at currency generation, you wind up in a situation where where it's hard to even make currency to make a new build if you don't like the one that you're using. The thing is with this, even if this isn't your favorite build and you want to try something new, maybe you like trying a bunch of different builds. This is your bread and butter build. This is what you make currency with. And being able to do everything and being able to farm currency really well makes it so that you can earn a lot of currency really fast. Um, so that's why it's important to have a build like this. And the main things for a build like that is a really fast clear speed. And that's going to tie into what we're going to be doing. So I'm sure that you have seen myself or other people making videos. They have multiple maps in their stash, and why is it that they do that? The reason why is because I want to go to my stash tab as little as possible, because say I was at that 10 minutes. What was I doing in that 10 minutes? Was I spending all 10 of those minutes in maps? No. Every single time when I was new, every single time I completed a map, what did I do? I immediately went to my stash tab. I want to deposit all my goodies. And then I want to look at them, and I want to, figure out my prices, and a huge amount of time wasted. It's possible when I was new, I was spending more time, uh, more time looking at stuff, messing around in my stash tab than I was actually killing mobs, and that's not what we want to do. Before, it was kind of like an extreme. Like, you've probably seen videos where I have like 10 or 20 maps. That's not needed anymore. The reason why you used to carry that many maps is because map drops were a lot less frequent, and so like if you weren't getting maps to drop and you couldn't focus farm like you can now, like the whole dynamic has changed. So what I'm going to say is, for the very basics, you want to start with like 3 or 4 maps. And for starting this out, this is assuming you're not already at a place where you're doing maps like these, which I will cover the really high tier stuff later, but we're going to cover the basics first. So this is like your goal. This is the chisel, then you alch, then you vol it, and you basically are just wanting to get as high of a quantity and rarity as you can get. And then we're going to be buffing up the maps, we're going to be using sextants, and the whole ideology behind doing that is we want to maximize our currency for every map that we play. But that's not where I start. I'm not farming like that all season, and there's a reason why. And the reason why is because all season I wasn't able to efficiently run tier 16 maps like this. And with the Awakener level, like I'm running on Awakener level 8, it's buffing these up even more. Like we can look at this, I mean map boss is 24% more life, and the modifiers are getting beefed up by another 24%. So you have to have really good gear to be doing this. Like there's no more of this, I put on a any 6 link and now I'm speed running the hardest content. You have to have a really good build, and you're gonna have to upgrade gear, plain and simple. So the way that we're gonna do this is I'm basically just going to alch a couple maps and then I'm gonna run them. And what's gonna happen, we're gonna go ahead and do it, and I'll talk you through the other pointers as I'm doing it. So to make this like super efficient, we're only going to be picking up, like the best stuff. And one of the other biggest mistakes that people make when they're new, I did it too, is you try to kill everything on the map, which before there was only one reason that this was actually worthwhile, and that was if you were struggling for maps. But the thing is with the changes, they have made map drops way more common. And I'm not talking about just when you have, 100 Awakener level and, 100 plus completion, and no, like from the beginning, I have not struggled at all this season for maps, and that's completely unheard of. So it's just, the dynamic has changed a lot. Man, this is a weak breach. Like, there's only like this little tiny section that's having any. Ooh, that little dude actually gave me a good whack. So it is important to be killing the bosses. The reason why, like, I was messing around and decided to record me doing the metamorphs, and the thing is they're actually really profitable for the amount of time that they take to complete. You can think of them as like a bonus for doing this method that I'm teaching you, which is basically just speedrun maps. So that's another thing. If your gear is not at a place where you can speedrun a tier 16 map, run something that you can safely or efficiently, I shall say, the highest thing that you can efficiently run. Or you can make easier maps. Like I released one thing that you have to understand is a big determining factor of how hard a map is the mods that are on the map. That's why I released that video on how to make maps easier or better drops, because you don't start off in gear that's good enough to run these maps. One thing you always want to do, drop a portal. Do I plan on dying? No. But if I do die, do I want to waste a bunch of time walking all the way back there? I mean, to be honest with you, if I were to die on this fight, the amount of time it would take me to get back here, I would probably just drop the map. because it's a waste of time, and that's a part of the speedrunning thing. So if you don't want to be abandoning maps and you don't want to be wasting time, take the 2 seconds to... Oh, there we go, baby. See that right there? Yeah, I've been in this map for like 3 minutes. That is like 40-50 chaos. Even if you can't do the maps, like if you're like, I'm not good at Guardians, the new Guardian fights are really hard, which they are. I don't want to do them, just sell them. 40-50 chaos, someone will buy it. But if you want to learn the fights, you can do the fights, get good at them, and then, you know, once you've gotten really good at them, they can be something that you farm for even better drops. Like, say you don't have a Dying Sun yet, and you want a Dying Sun. Do your maps and get a Dying Sun from the Shaper. So I am going to run around and basically just kill the mass majority of what's left in this because it is a high tier map. But I'm not going to be like, oh, I've got missing minions on the map. Or, you know, if there's one guy left over, I'm not going to be like, oh, I gotta go kill that one dude or those, you know, 20 dudes. Like, I'm good right now. Like, that's good. Oh, hello. Okay, this is a Diviners. Oh, I did not mean to click that. I was gonna say, if there's one thing that's worth going back for, so what I should have done, I honestly did not mean to click that. When you see Diviners, you are going to want to beef those up. That is like the one time that it is worthwhile to beef these up. Like, what you want to do is you want to use an ID scroll, ID it, then use a scouring orb to remove it. Then you want to use engineering orbs. Well, it's gray, so that it only takes 4 of them to get it to 20% quality. Then you want to take and hit it with an alchemy, and that will, you know, make it a rare. You can get into looking for mods, and, you know, you could vol it. I believe when you vol it, it might give you higher chances for something like the demon, because that's a corrupted mods. So I mean, but I would just say every time you see one of those, you should be going back and you should take and do that method. You should ID it, scour it, use your 4 engineering orbs, which will put it at 20% quality, and then you want to hit it with an alchemy and then do it. Just because you can get really good drops from that. So,
good day.
Looking at this, you know, I'm not picking up a lot of stuff. I stopped picking up those ones, like these things, because I know that I don't need those mods anymore. Which is something you should learn. There are some of those that, you know, you look at them and because they're a top tier, you know, you're gonna want to ID them. Why did I pick this up? Because it's got 6 sockets. It's 7 jeweler's orbs, which jeweler's orbs are something that I use. So in this case, I winded up picking up a lot of stuff. So I am actually going to go back to my tab because there's a high chance that I don't have enough space to continue, which stuff like that happens. But, you know, in general, you don't want to be going back to your tab, but you don't need to clear it all out. Just, I guess this isn't exactly the best instructional video, but I mean, I actually took out the alchemy orbs that have fallen. So to continue on with the example, you know, I've got one more map, and I had gotten some alchemies. I put them away, but what do I have? I've got maps here. So I've basically, look at how many maps I got. I mean, like, not counting this one. That one we're not going to be speed running. But I have a whole selection of maps. I've got 5 maps from this one. That's a lot of maps, and now I've got a choice, and I'm gonna get alchemies, and we'll run one more map just so that you can see that, you know, this is sustainable, starting with only a few maps. We'll pretend like I don't have those maps, and that I'm just like You know, starting over again. That was a bad run. We're pretending like I didn't get any outs and I, you know, didn't get any maps. Um, so second run, we'll see if I'm able to sustain. I am getting these dudes if I see them. Which the cool thing about the pieces are basically whatever is you can tell where a lot of enemies are going to be. And I always pick up quality gems. The reason why is you can sell 40 quality on combined gems that like you don't need, like, you know, that one I picked up, it's got quality on it. So when you sell those to the vendor and it totals 40 quality, you will get a jeweler's orb back for them, which makes it so that, you know, you can get your the quality on all of your jewels leveled up without you having to buy those, which right now they're like 2 chaos a piece. So it would cost you like 40 chaos for each jewel. But as you're leveling, if you are actively picking up all of the superior gems that you see, you shouldn't really have to be buying jeweler's orbs. In fact, you should wind up with extras that you can then turn around and sell. So what I was saying is the nice thing about these green dots is it's telling me where a pack is. So obviously you'll see me like off-screen killing like a lot of the stuff in the map, and the reason why is because I know where they are because of I'm paying attention to my mini-map, which just makes it more efficient because you know, I'm killing stuff as I'm getting to it. The other thing is if you're using this build, we have Tailwind. So it actually keeps you moving faster by using skills like that. So Tailwind gets activated when you use a skill, and you get a 10% increased action speed. Oopsies, I sat on my remote. You get a 10% increased action speed for each skill that you use. So I'm constantly spamming my shooting and dashing, which is maintaining a 20% increase to that. So it's keeping me moving faster. This is not like the fastest map, but this is a pretty good map, and because it's got a lot of mobs in it, and there's it's pretty open. Like it's pretty straightforward. I run a loop-de-loop, and I'm sinking. I feel like the sinking feature on this map is like so inconsistent. Gotta get to the wall. Alright, no more sinking. Drop my portal. Go into the fight. That jerk. Tricked me. Not as good of a map. Like, I obviously did not make as much currency, but I ran these really fast. Like that is the main thing. Like, I'm running maps fast. I'm not wasting a bunch of time doing stuff that is unnecessary. And I'm taking free kills because I've got a lot of XP. I've been like really slacking on leveling up.
My mana is gone.
Because honestly, like, I mean, the extra points, they're gonna give me more HP, but like I'm in a pretty strong place, but like I can gain 3 levels like pretty easily, so I'm just gonna do it. So I mean, it said, oh well, actually I cleared this map pretty efficiently. There's 33 monsters left. So oh, I actually didn't get an alk on that one, so I guess that does, and I didn't get any maps. My theory was ruined by that map. Well, I started with 3. So my point is averaging, like, my advice would start with like 3 or 4 maps. You will get more maps in those 3 to 4 maps. You will get ALKs if you're doing, uh, the larger portion of the map clearing. Um, so the main point of this, it's like of this video, is it's like small tips, but the general idea is to pick up your pace and to actively be paying attention to what it is that you're doing. Don't get stuck at your stash tab. Don't get into the habit of going to your stash tab every time. Like right now, I'm ready
Blue
to run
wins.
another map. Like I have plenty of space. These I was grabbing just for the jeweler's orbs. I had enough room for them. I made space. I don't even need to ID this. This is one spot in my it's one spot in my inventory. Like I'm ready to run this next map. I immediately click it. I'm ready to go in. I'm ready to start and run this bad boy, and probably a few more. Ooh, what was that? Ooh, all right. I gotta switch my pantheon. That is all burning ground. That is the effect. All right, check this out. So it is important to have a pantheon and an understanding of what your pantheon does. In general, the Soul of Shikari is a great thing to be running all the time because it gives us immunity to poison, reduce chaos damage taken. It's a really good one. But when you experience something like this, I go in there and I'm like, damn, I am getting messed up. And my other favorite one is the Soul of Abrath. I haven't even finished it because the main thing is I'm unaffected by burning ground. You saw how much that was messing me up, and it's because I'm playing a really messed up map. And guess what? Now it is not an issue at all. I can just stand on this stuff. It has completely negated that. I mean, I'm gonna make the video like a tiny bit longer by just running this map, because I am gonna prove we will get some map drops. Do you know how much of a pain this map would have been if I had not changed that? I'd be like walking on pins and needles of fire. I'd be like, this map sucks. And I would have been really slow if I would have played the map like that. So jumping through my portal to change out, and I could have honestly read that. Like, I'm pretty sure I actually read it before, and I was just like, yeah, whatever. And then ooh, dangerous map. And boss fight. Alright, let's do this, baby. Yeah, go after my totems.
My mana is gone.
Am I not hitting you? Where do you guys go? Ooh! Ooh! Oh no! Ooh. There's one. There's two. And I got a map. Point proven. This being a really dangerous map, me having XP, I am definitely, and I told you every single map, like, you can do the free metamorphosis kill. I'm sitting on 60% XP. Do I want to fight this thing and possibly get messed up and lose, 10, 20% XP? Hell no. I am not a melee character. There is absolutely no reason for me to force myself to possibly lose experience. I'm going to take the easy road. I'm going to find myself a little stretch. I'm still going to get my loot. I'm going to take the sure thing. Oopsies. I'm going to take the sure thing. I'm going to run back in a straight line. I'm going to line this up. And I'm going to kill this fool. Bam. I got him locked on. Kill done. That simple. I selected a couple mods with regen, so it's going to take a second, but you get the point. It's really tanky. Regen is like the most annoying thing in the world. Like, I learned that very early, that regen was a biatch. He actually might be dead. Every once in a while, you get this like weird thing where you're like too far away from them, and until you get close enough to them, they don't die. But because I know I selected several regens, it's highly possible that he's still actually alive. I've gained like from his summons, I can see my experience going up. Hey, Vermilion Ring. Da, da, da. It that fills heart. Well, that is pretty much a wrap. I proved my point. 2 out of the 3 maps. We got maps. Did I get some more Alex? Yeah, I got 2 more Alex from that. So, there you go. The first map, we got a bunch of maps. We got some Alex. Second one, we didn't get any maps. We didn't get any Alex. Third one, we got a map. We got some Alex. My point is proven. 3 to 4 maps, you're definitely going to get regens. I'm at a point right here. I picked up some crap that I didn't need. I am ready to go right back into another map. I'm not going to continue this video because it's already at 37 minutes. But I'm literally just going to do this. I've got crap in my inventory. But when I take and 6 to 10, what tier is that? That's worth some currency. And this one, that's garbage. Okay, so now I still have, quite a bit of space. So I'm just going to start another map. I'm going to go in, and that's going to be the 4 maps. Well, since the first one I wound up getting a bunch of divination cards, I wound up tossing, so I would get in 3 maps. But, your drops can be really good, they can be really bad. So the main thing is try to step up your pace. Actively step up your pace. The ideology is this simple. If you ran 6 maps in an hour at 10 minutes a map for your playtime, no matter how much your playtime is, if you're able to decrease the amount of time between your maps, then you're going to be increasing your currency. I mean, even if you're lucky in those 6 maps and you're like, well, I ran 12 maps in my next hour and I didn't make twice as much currency. Well, think about it like this. Oh man, I keep on sitting on my remote. Think about it like this. Like, if you would have ran those 6 maps and then also ran an extra 6 maps in that same amount of time, that would have obviously been more currency. Obviously, there's not going to be an exact currency amount the whole time you're running because it's RNG based. But by giving yourself more chances in the long run, essentially, you do twice as amount of maps, you're going to get twice the amount of loot. That is the basics. We will get into some more farming stuff, but pay attention to what it is you're doing and stay focused on running a lot of maps. Peace out.